A month had passed since Ludis, his wife, walked away from him. Her voice still echoed in his mind like a cruel ghost. I deserve a better life than this. You're a poor dreamer, Jackie, nothing more. The words had pierced him sharper than any blade. He didn't argue. He had no strength left for that. And when she left, she took with her the last piece of warmth he had. Now, alone with no family, no neighbors who cared, and barely enough food for himself, Jackie sank deeper into silence. But the desert, for reasons unknown to men, often sends its gifts in strange shapes. That night, while Jackie wrestled with the hollowness inside him, a faint sound slipped through the darkness, a weak, trembling meow. He lifted his head, scanning the shadows until he noticed a tiny creature curled near his doorstep. A thin cat, shivering, her fur dusty and uneven as though life had not been kind to her either. He approached slowly, expecting her to run like all stray cats did. But she simply looked up at him with wide, glowing eyes that held a quiet plea. Jackie searched his pockets and found only a hard piece of stale bread, his own dinner. He looked at the bread, then at the fragile creature in front of him, and a sigh escaped him. I can survive another night hungry, he murmured. But I'm not sure you can. He placed the bread before her. She sniffed it hesitantly, then devoured it with desperate gratitude. Jackie couldn't help but smile, sadly, but sincerely. Moments later, the cat sat beside him, pressed her head gently against his knee, and purred. For the first time in weeks, Jackie felt something other than emptiness. He felt company. He didn't know it yet, but that small act of kindness was about to shift the weight of his entire life. When morning came, Jackie opened his door and found the cat waiting on the threshold, sitting upright like a tiny guard. He chuckled softly. "Are you staying?" he asked. "I have no money, no real food, but if loyalty is what you're after, my heart still has room." He named her Lotus, because she seemed delicate yet strangely radiant, like a flower blooming from the dust. Day by day, Lotus followed him everywhere, to the market, the old well, even when he wandered aimlessly to clear his thoughts. People in the village whispered, "There goes Jackie, the man who talks to a cat like it's a person. Poor soul has finally lost his mind." But Jackie didn't care. In Lotus's presence, he rediscovered pieces of himself he thought had died. At night, when he spoke his worries aloud, she would raise her head and flick her tail as if listening with full understanding. And somehow that was enough. One morning, Lotus darted toward a narrow alley behind the abandoned stone wall on the edge of the village. She stopped, turned to Jackie, and meowed sharply as if calling him with purpose. Curious, Jackie followed. She paused beside a mound of sand and began scratching vigorously. Jackie knelt and brushed the sand aside until something metallic glimmered beneath the surface, a small, ancient golden token. He froze, staring at Lotus. Where did you find this?" he whispered. The cat merely blinked, her tail swaying with an eerie calm. It was the first hint that Lotus was not an ordinary companion. A few nights later, Lotus brought something to Jackie's door, an old bone engraved with strange symbols, one of which resembled a cat reaching toward the sun. The carvings were nothing like local craft. Jackie felt a chill crawl up his spine. "What are you trying to show me?" he asked. Lotus trotted to the doorway, looked back at him, and released a long, commanding meow. It was clear, "Follow me." And he did. Under a silver moon, they trekked through the desert until they reached an enormous rock wall sculpted by centuries of wind. Lotus began digging at a narrow crack. Jackie joined her, clearing sand until a buried wooden box emerged. Inside, he found a gold piece larger than the first, and a bracelet etched with the same ancient symbols as the bone. Jackie's breath caught. This can't be real. But Lotus only stared at him, unblinking, as if urging him to go further. Word spread quickly about Jackie's sudden change. New clothes, repaired walls, a brighter spark in his once empty gaze. One day at the market, an old man with a silver beard approached him. His eyes were sharp and unsettlingly wise. "A cat is never just a cat," the old man said quietly. Jackie stiffened. "Do you know something about Lotus?" The man smiled gently. "There are creatures in this world sent to guide broken souls back to their path. Some appear as humans. Others wear softer shapes." Before Jackie could reply, the old man vanished into the crowd like smoke. That night, Lotus yowled urgently. Her fur bristled as she stared into the desert. Jackie understood immediately. Something else is calling. He followed her back to the stone cliffs, where she scratched at a circular slab beneath the sand. Together, they uncovered a stone lid covered in symbols matching those on the bracelet. With trembling hands, Jackie lifted the stone. A dark passage stretched below. Lotus slipped inside without fear, and Jackie, heart pounding, descended after her. The tunnel led to a massive underground chamber lined with forgotten chests. When Jackie opened one, gold and jewels burst into view like a captured sunrise. Before joy could fill him, a whisper flowed through the chamber walls. Gold destroys the greedy. Beware the weight of your own desire. Jackie spun around, terrified, but Lotus sat calmly at his feet, eyes glowing with ancient understanding. A hidden crack in the stone opened suddenly, revealing a mural painted long ago. It told the tale of a destitute man guided by a mystical cat toward a treasure meant not for riches, but for spiritual restoration. The final line read, "The true treasure is the heart reshaped." Jackie's chest tightened. He finally understood. Lotus had not come to him to fill his pockets. She had come to refill his soul. At that moment, the same old man appeared in the shadows of the chamber. "You were chosen," he said softly. "Broken hearts are the closest to mercy, and those who show kindness to the helpless are never abandoned by heaven." Tears welled in Jackie's eyes. "Why me?" he whispered. "Because you fed a starving creature while starving yourself," the man replied. That was enough. Jackie emerged from the cavern carrying not much gold, only what he needed. But he carried something far more valuable, a reborn sense of purpose. He repaired his home, helped struggling families, and became known for his quiet generosity. The villagers no longer mocked him, they admired him. Even Ludis, the wife who had abandoned him, returned one day with regret in her eyes. "I was wrong about you, Jackie," she said. He simply smiled. "Maybe, but if you hadn't left, I might never have found my way." And he walked past her peacefully, leaving the weight of old wounds behind. As months passed, Lotus grew distant. She often sat at the edge of the desert, staring into the horizon as if waiting for an unseen signal. One moonlit night, she approached Jackie, released a soft but unusual cry, and walked into the dunes. Jackie followed her to a towering stone marked by ancient carvings of a crowned cat, the guardian of lost souls. There, the old man appeared once more. "Her time with you has ended," he said gently. "Another broken soul awaits her light." Jackie knelt, embraced Lotus carefully, and whispered, "Thank you for returning me to myself." Lotus glowed with a faint, ethereal light and vanished like a breath carried into the sky. Jackie stood in silence, tears falling, but his heart, for the first time in many years, felt complete. Jackie Rowan became a legend in the village. The man who rose from despair not because of gold, but because he once shared his last piece of bread with a starving cat. Whenever children asked him for the secret of his fortune, he would smile and say, "Kindness wakes miracles. Even a hungry cat may carry the key to your destiny." And so the tale of Jackie and Lotus became a story passed down through generations, a story not of treasure, but of a heart healed by unexpected grace. Finally, support us by subscribing and pressing like.